Oxford House Cemetery, and this is where Tracy's great-grandfather is laid here. Private Richard Dick Evans, known to his friends, and his fellow comrades here are also in the from Chapel on the Frith, and they were in the Notts and Derbyshire Regiment, 1st and 6th Battalion. And there's a short excerpt here that they were going out on a work detail, and on their return it wrought terrible havoc to the people of Chapel when an artillery shell burst above them, and it killed 7 and wounded between 30 or 40 more. 4 of them who were killed were Chapel men, and that was Private Dick Evans, Private Heather, Private Joe Ford and Private James Greatorex. And amongst the other wounded were Private Longson, Private Hassel, Private Lomas from Dove Holes, which was in near. When the roll was called, 4 others were unaccounted for, and these were rescued under heavy fire, and some brave deeds were performed in doing this. It's firmly believed that the men who rescued them did this gallant work. They will receive distinctions. As might be expected, the news created a great consternation in the town and district of Chapel, where the 4 men who laid down their lives for king and country were very well known and greatly esteemed. Private Evans and Private Ford left widows and families, and Private Heather and Greatorex were single young men. This is a poem by Thomas Jones of Gronant, North Wales, and it's a dedication to all the soldiers who fell in the Great War. I'd like to share this with you now as a tribute to all of them. In this scrambled and hideous land of mud, now barbed wire where trees once stood, I wake from sleep only to scream and yell in this foreign land where my comrades fell. Your country needs you is what the banner read. This was long ago and so many dead. The trench is home to old and young. To the very edge of life we have clung. For king and country is why we fight. Oh, do they really know our plight? The night sky turns red with a burning flare. It lights the scarred land up everywhere. Far in the distance big guns sound. Soon their carnage will be unleashed all around. Now their rage is raining and falling near. Oh, how I hate it, living in fear. Hard to bear the noise of shells. Even the worse the carnage smells. But smells of oil and gasoline. Smells of things that should never be seen. My mouth is dry, it's hard to spit. My trench takes a direct hit. My body is smashed, it's tired and weak. Cold and bloodied and hard as teak. But still those screamers cut through my grain. Oh God, will I ever see my family again? I can feel a pain, it hurts to the bone. I see flashes of my brother and sister and my family home. A ball is bouncing, I can see bare feet. It's Danny and me playing football in the street. Sarah is singing and pushing a doll's pram, and Dad's there laughing and tickling Mam. They're all together now and they look so near, and I reach out to touch, but they fade and disappear. I look round and the noise has gone, just that haunting colour I've seen for so very long. I can see a bright light approaching me. My pain has gone, but it's hard to see. I don't even know the time of day. I just know it's time for me to fade away. This was the story of many a brave lad. And I know you will find it so very sad. But we mustn't feel down and we mustn't fret. Just keep all their memories strong and don't ever forget. Spoil Bank Cemetery. We're on the way to Hill 60, so we're just looking at the landscape around us at the moment, because we're passing lots of what we call points of interest really. But the reason it was called Spoil Bank is because they dug all the side out here, the sidings. There's a canal system there, and they dug all of that out, and the land, the spoil of the land, so they called it after the cemetery. The cemetery, sorry, was called after it. So we're just going to carry on along here. And there you can see the canal system there. And we're now going to go towards a crater left over. There's bodies underneath these. But as you go along, everywhere you look, it looks like it's a pond. That's actually a crater. And it would have taken a fair explosion to lift that amount of soil out of there. And now it's a place of tranquility. There's some information on it here. Unfortunately, it's not wholly visible. But it's pointing out, I think it means here, there, by the side of the road, so there it is, there's the crater there. Mm-hmm. Just climbed to the top of a hill here. And it's just above where the crater is, down at the bottom there. And animals have been, you know, digging and clawing away at the soil and stuff like that. And I literally just picked up, and if you look at that, this is what was used to go inside the artillery shells, and it's when the round would explode, hundreds of these would go out like bullets and would just maim the enemy where they stood. And that was, there you go, 100 years on, and there it is, just coming to the surface. And I wasn't even looking, I just thought I'd do a bit of filming of some of the area, and there it is, evidence of the First World War coming to the surface straight away. We've now arrived at Hill 60, and this is where the Australian tunnelling company blew up the large mine. And this, you can see behind us here, where the sheep are, if you look, those are all impact craters, look, just as the battlefield was. And then it's very similar to how Vimy has been left. And if you look across there now, look, you can see it's just exactly, the landscape is exactly as it was. Huge craters everywhere. You can see evidence of the fortifications there as well. There's something down there which is a large metal object down there, which might be of some significance. This is one of the memorials to the tunnelling company from the Australians. And you can see there's evidence here that these are bullet marks from the Second World War. So it shows even second time round it saw some action again. So we're going to go and have a look at the Hooge crater now. It's down inside where the one of the craters are. And look at the size of this thing. That brings it home to you, doesn't it? The size of that. Massive. And I'm actually standing in a crater here. This is, people have laid some memorials down. I'd like to read one of them. To Charles Wright, who was born 1891 to 1915, who died on the 7th of December. And it's his, he was the great uncle to somebody who's come out and, obviously a great niece or nephew has come out and brought out a memorial to them. You can't help but look at the ground, because there's that many things coming up all the time. All this land, all torn from battle. Incredible, isn't it?
Mm. Sure is.
What's ironic is you think of all the battle that went on, all the raging battle, but listen to it now. Yeah. She's just pointed out actually, as we're walking along, she says we're actually standing in a crater, aren't we? I says, yeah, we are. If you look at that. Look at the size of that. And there's such a strange serenity about the place. But we're actually standing in a grave, technically. There's obviously people who haven't been recovered. And Tracy's doing it now as well. You can't help but look at the ground because there's small artifacts and things keep coming to the surface. There. That's some impact. Here is an old machine gun post here. Remnants of it. And there you can see it goes underground, look. Lord knows what you'd find down there now. Whoops. Keep doing that again, looking at the ground. So we're actually walking along front line. And here's one that's a bit of a well preserved. It says a little bit about it, I think, here. There. Laid on behalf of the staff and students of Wickersley School, Sports and College, Rotherham. Our generation has a duty to remember past conflicts and ensure that history does not repeat itself. May they rest in peace. Fantastic. And that was somebody's viewpoint for many an hour. Our St Helens School. Forever in our hearts, Woking High School. I think it's fantastic that the schools bring the younger generation out. Tracy's just stumbled on this. You see where it leads down. So I'll tell you what, I'll have a quick look. Oh yeah, because it's a small shelter. It's like the old Anderson shelters with the ribbed metal. I know, just thinking there's small dugouts here, look. That's one of those stumps.
It looks like it.
Doesn't it? This is a caterpillar crater.
Wow. That's too.
That is a massive, massive explosion. What I'm going to do is walk round the other way, and it will give you an idea on scale of how big this actual mine crater is. You can see Tracy in the distance there. There are bodies at the bottom of this. People who were encased in it. There you go. About halfway across now. That gives you an idea of the scale of this now. If you look to that, to where Tracy is, to the size of the actual crater now. Imagine the explosion required, the stuff that they must have put under there to send this thing up. You'd think this must be visible from space, it's huge. They said that when these things went off, the sky went red with the flash, and the soil and dirt that was thrown up into the air took ages to come down, and it scattered for all around. And this was the beginning of the warfare, the mine warfare, the underground war. Incredible. And all around you here, this woodland and everything, all bears the scars of activity of 100 years ago. If you've never been out here, you really should come. It's not as sombre and as, you know, it's just, I think it's so you can take a step back and realise what actually happened. Look at the size of that. It is, isn't it? I was just explaining there that when they said that when this thing went off, the sky went red with all the charge, and that the soil was falling for ages. It just seemed to fall forever because it was blown that high. So there you have it, the caterpillar. Tracy just said, let's have a walk down this path, because we saw a guy walking down who resembled Art Garfunkel, funnily enough. But yeah, he went walking down here, and she says, "Oh, come on, let's have a walk down." It's the crater is just there, and I've put this back here so you can see it. But this there, see how that fits? Look. And that's fragment, that's bomb casing or shell casing. So it just shows it that everything's coming to the surface, everything's around. So we're gonna have a walk down here because look at that, it's beautiful. This is where we've just been. That's what it looked like prior to the mine going off. What used to be a hill is now a crater. This railway bridge here is that one just there. And then where me and Tracy were walking around before, where we were walking in and out of sort of dugouts, and that's all that area there. This is something I wanted to point out, that when Tracy's great-grandfather was killed, it was the 43rd Field Ambulance, which is there, and that's who took care of him. If you look through to there, you can see the town of Ypres. You can see that the spires on the skyline there. That's what they use for keeping the wire up, but it's authentic. This is where we are, the hotel. It's formerly known as the Chateau. It's been partially rebuilt. So if you look all the way along there, see them from here? And that's one of the craters from the mines. This looks quite interesting to go around. As you can see here, look, there's artillery pieces, shells, fragments, casings. You can see there the impact of a round that's blasted there, and look at all this ordnance here that's been found. And then obviously the larger shells there. These are impact craters from the mines, and there's a gun position up there, look. So we'll go inside now and have a look round. There's a trench system inside, so we'll take a look. But this is where we are. Hooge. And that's the chateau. That's as it was, or rather this is what it was like before the war, after the war, or during. So you see the construction of the lines here and how they built the corrugated sheeting, a bit like the Anderson shelters system that they used in the Second World War. And there you can see how they go down, and the infamous duckboard system as well that everybody adopted. I'll just have a quick there, look at that. Now I don't know if I can actually light it up, but let's have a go. Okay, we've got a torch going. Let's have a look. Oh, there we are, we're lit up anyway. Even better. Wow, look at that. Incredible how these things are still strong as ever. Tracy's pointed out this, if you're standing here, you're actually looking at the Hooge crater, which was a series of four craters. In this part here. Some nasty things got fired out of that. That looks like a gas shell. No. Right, which way do you want to go round? Do you want to go round this way or that way? Go to the left? Okay. Let's take the walk round. And you can see here somebody's used an arrow to keep you pointed, and that's actually a gun. You can see here where the stock's all rotted away and you're left with the trigger mechanism there. There's the sights. And there you've got the barrel. I couldn't say what nationality for the gun. I do know one thing, you would be on a charge if your weapon was that dirty. Look at that, look at all this ordnance everywhere. More evidence of craters there. In the background there, it's like Alton Towers, Fun Park or something. And there's the hotel. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Look at that. Look at all this artillery. Wow. It's just... I'm talking to you. This is, I mean, people can view this, but they realise that it's me and you looking around at stuff as well. I'm still filming and stuff, but I'm just amazed at the amount of stuff lying around. There's the impact craters, look. It was a very busy time. These are part of the supports that we used. You know, I said earlier that looked like the Anderson shelters, or the similar design to there. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. There's trenches down here. Have a quick look at these. Look at that. Here we go. There's the trench system. Look down there. And what we'll do is we'll have a look down there, shall we? These boards might be a bit rotten, Tracy, but it's dry, which I bet these weren't as dry, you know, in their day. I think we're walking where people were walking many, many years ago. There's a plate, metal plate there. Well, I think that's something to do with sniper. You see the shape of it. It was a protection plate, I think, for a sniper, but I'm sure I'll get corrected if I'm wrong, but it was something like that that they used. Wow. Okay, this is where I take an abrupt stop. Check out the mud. Right. Shovel there. Hasn't changed in design at all since World War I, and we still used them like that in the army in the 80s. That gives you an idea of what the trenches look like. You can see it's blurred obviously, but you can see the wire there, and that's these. And there it is, the infamous barbed wire. There it is. That's why it demanded so much artillery shelling to try and disperse that stuff so that the soldiers could go over the top. And there's the rest of the trench system there, which we will stay out of because it's muddy. And we haven't got the proper footwear. We have in the van, but not on us. Now you can see there, some of the barbed wire there still attached. Look at that, still, and that'll still give you a nasty cut as well. Look. Well, this is fantastic, isn't it? This is well worth a visit, isn't it? The last walk that we did where we were at the other crater, the caterpillar, we were scouring the ground for tiny bits of metal or anything, and here we're just surrounded by it, aren't we? Yeah. So there you have the Hooge Crater Museum. Some of these here, they're still filled up with so they've been put there safe out of the way. Put this place on your visit. It's only €1 to get in, a donation in a box, and you actually get to walk amongst stuff as it was. It gives you a bit of gravity and a bit of an impact as to what was going on. All this artillery ordnance that's lying around everywhere as well, that was actually found here. That gives you a scale of everything. Yeah, look at that. You see the band in here, look. That was so that it, for the rifling in the barrel, so it connected and spin the projectile. He's just pointing out some of the fragments from the shrapnel, the artillery shells, and it's amazing actually how heavy they are. Look at that, and it's like cast iron. And it's got a fair weight to it. Now look at that, how it's splintered. Can you imagine that coming through the air at a couple 100 miles an hour? It's no wonder that they suffered the horrific wounds that they did. Look at that. You have that rip through your back, whatever. Tear you in half, cut you in two.